Today we're going to talk Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and more. Hey everyone, this is Digital Charcuterie. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new to the channel, you like the DCU, looking forward to the future of that DCU, hit that subscribe button. We're going to be talking about it, discussing it with you all here on the channel until, I guess at least the next 10 years of James Gunn's vision, or however long that's going to last, or goes on, possibly even beyond 10 years. Let me know your thoughts on Superman, Creature Commandos, and are you looking forward to Peacemaker Season 2 dropping tonight? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's get right into it. News is coming out. James Gunn is doing the rounds for Peacemaker Season 2, and it's very exciting. And everyone is always going to ask him questions, right? Obviously, the questions are going to come not just about Peacemaker Season 2, which seems like it's a lot of fun, but also the DCU in general. Where are we at? What's going on? What's the future going to bring? And for the most part, he is very open. Somebody asked him about Green Arrow, and he said they haven't even considered Green Arrow yet, that he's not in the cards. He might exist in the universe. He might not. But as of this moment in time, Green Arrow not happening in the DCU, which I think, it's not overly surprising. But with the success of the show Arrow, like the series Arrow it's been a long time now since that series was on, but Arrow and the Arrowverse was such a big deal. And I've always liked Green Arrow as a character, never my favorite character, not someone that I was overly ever excited about, but I always did enjoy when Green Arrow showed up and things. So, we'll keep our eyes peeled for some Green Arrow. But let's move on. The Superman Saga, which was first kind of discussed by David Zaslav about 2 weeks ago, where he said, hey, James Gunn's working on the next installment of the Superman family. And then shortly after that, James Gunn said, at the Peacemaker premiere he said, I think I'm going to call it the Superman Saga. Let's say I'm working on the next installment of the Superman Saga. And we're all assuming that that's going to include Supergirl, right? This was Superman, Supergirl, whatever he's working on, the Superman family, which is what we're calling it. But now he's saying this. Let's bring it up right here. Comicbookmovie.com. Here we go. Superman director James Gunn confirms that the Superman Saga will consist of 4 films. And we'll scroll down a little bit here. In a new interview with DC Studios, co-CEO pondered his wider plans for the DCU and said in passing, what is the long-term story I'm telling here? What is the story that I'm going to tell about Superman over 4 movies? He said this on the Vile Files with Nick Vile podcast. You can check it out on YouTube. It's a really great interview. It's I think it's just over an hour long. It's Guardians of the Galaxy, Peacemaker, Superman, and more. And it's a really great talk here. But he's like, I am thinking, what is long-term story I'm telling here? What is the story that I'm going to tell about Superman over 4 movies? He specifically says over 4 movies. And what's exciting about that is the idea that he knows where his story is going to go, right? In the past, we haven't so much gotten that from Superman. We got Superman and then Batman v Superman, and I love those 2 movies to death. But you could tell, it's fine making it up as you go along. But now we have this full-fledged DCU, right? The movie industry has changed drastically since Man of Steel, since the Dark Knight trilogy, and now people want to know what is going on, what's happening next. And the fact that he has this planned out, he knows that he needs 4 movies to tell Superman's story. Again, we're speculating that includes Supergirl. I don't think he said that officially, that Supergirl is in that 4-movie arc here. I mean, he just mentioned the 4 things yesterday. So I don't think Supergirl might not even be in there. So we might only be on the second one, which he has far in production on in that one. But he goes on to say something even more intriguing about this movie, which leads into Batman and the Batman Part 2. And I want to bring that up on the screen right here from Screen Rant. James Gunn saying, I can say that probably the next movie we're going to be making is the follow-up to Superman, which I don't want to get too much detail on, but that's what's probably the next film we're making, I think. Well, hopefully we're making the Batman 2 before that, and then I think it's the Superman follow-up. And then we have another TV show, which nobody knows about, which is going next. And then a lot of that other stuff is still in different stages of development. We got The Brave and the Bold is still going well, and a Wonder Woman and a Paradise Lost and Booster Gold. So all those other things are still going down the road. Some of the things have changed a little bit, like The Authority, but most of those things are all in the process. But I am not going to make any of them until there is a screenplay that I am happy with. And he said this on the I Think You're Overthinking It podcast. Right there. So there's a lot there. Obviously, a new TV show coming that nobody's ever heard about. We don't know what it is. He's saying that it's not even one that's probably been thrown out there. Booster Gold. Jimmy Olsen, Crypto, whatever, things like that. Although the Crypto shorts that you are seeing with the Superman digital stuff, those are all Elseworlds. Those are not DCU canon for what that's worth. What I'm taking from this, though, is that the next one he wants to make is Superman, but the next movie he wants to have in production at DC Studios is the Batman Part 2. And then he mentions how Brave and the Bold is still going very well. And I find that to be the most interesting thing, the most intriguing thing that he says in all these interviews. Like, yeah, okay, 4 movies is great. You know where you're going. You need to flesh it out. What could it possibly be? I'm starting to think Brainiac is going to be the one to play at the far end of it. I have a video on Brainiac, but I think by the 4th film, we're going to learn more about Brainiac. It'll be Superman, Supergirl, things like that. We could see World's Finest, but I think he's going to stay away from that. I think Brave and the Bold is where he's going to want to produce or introduce Batman rightfully, like in that one. Like, we got the cameo in Creature Commandos. He might do little things like that, but I think we'll get our full-fledged Batman probably in Brave and the Bold. That being said, he wants to have the Batman 2 into production before the Superman sequel follow-up. So that means spring 2026 Batman Part 2. So he can't go into production until after that in a Superman movie, or he doesn't think he will. He's still not saying definitively that Batman is happening, but it seems like it is. It's Batman Part 2, that is. But what I'm taking away from this is that he wants the Batman Part 2 off and running. He needs the Batman Part 2 off and running to get Brave and the Bold going. Because even though he's kind of come out and said, like, it's not too confusing to have 2 Batman running around on stage, on screen at the same time, it will be for some people, maybe not the majority, but some people. But the other issue at play here is Batman fatigue. If you have 2 Batman movies, Batman this year, Batman next year, Batman this year, Batman next year, our fans, our audiences going to be tired of the character. I think that's blasphemous for me to say. I don't think you can get tired of Batman, but people, I think people could. There's a possibility. If you release the Batman Part 2 and then immediately another Batman that's a completely different Batman. I don't know if you remember, but when Andrew Garfield was recast as Spider-Man, there was a lot of pushback saying, well, we just had Tobey Maguire. It's been like a week and a half, and now you're recasting, and you want me to go into that. And then they went right into Tom Holland after that, and it was a little bit different because the MCU was kind of cemented in their place at that time, but there was still like, how many Spider-Man are we going to get? And the same could be said for Batman. I mean, we had 1 million Batman, and now you're going to go 1-2 punch of Batman. So I think he wants the Batman Part 2 to go into production very, on schedule and release on schedule on October 1st, 2027, so that he can start the process of finishing the script and getting the Batman Brave and the Bold into production. I think he needs the Batman 2 to be finished, completed, and out of the way, that he can get the Brave and the Bold going, which will really get the DCU up in full swing. Because Wonder Woman, Superman, they're great, but I think, Batman's Batman. And once you get Batman, I think you're going to be good to go. And you got to get Batman right as well. And I think that's something else that they'll probably try to figure out in the script. I think he has a good handle on, obviously, with the Brave and the Bold stuff, but he doesn't know if it's going to be gray or blue, and it's got to be gray or blue. James Gunn, gray and blue. Gotta be gray and blue. That's what I think. I think he needs the Batman 2 to go so he can get Brave and the Bold. I think the script, they're still finessing the script, but he needs Batman 2 before he can even fully focus on Brave and the Bold, because even if Brave and the Bold is a perfect script right now, they can't put that into production yet. They need to have some breathing room between the Batman Part 2 and Batman Brave and the Bold. So Superman, the follow-up to Superman's coming up next, which is not Supergirl. He doesn't say Supergirl's a follow-up to Superman. Supergirl's her own thing. So, again, whether or not Supergirl's included in this 4-movie arc, we don't know. We'll find out as time goes on. But it's exciting that the DCU is taking shape. He's got the idea. Seeds have been planted, and they are growing. He's watering them daily, and it's looking great. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. You like the idea of 4 Superman movies? And what do you think of Batman Brave and the Bold? Is it a bad idea to have back-to-back Batman, or should they just release them because Batman's awesome? Thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate your time. Give us a like and a subscribe. Until next time, may be the master of your own universe.